hope I'm pronouncing these people's names right. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to put them as villains. You love her, she's iconic, everybody remembers her, and she sells her scenes.
We love you, but unfortunately, you're not in my top 5 from my list.
That's
Rob
fine.
Marshall, I hope you're watching this video.
Hope you're watching.
Idea.
Hello.
Hi, darlings. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I am with a very special guest. You may hear his voice, but you may see his face if you went through the Council podcast, which he's wearing right now, the merch. I don't know if the merch is still available, is it? Or it's gone now?
It might be gone, but I'm sure we'll have another round coming soon. So
you should check. I'll put in the link down below. So you click on this video, like, what are we doing? Since Miss Cruella, darlings, Cruella is coming, like Disney Plus, Premiere Access. And since when that movie comes out, everybody's gonna be talking about the fabulous, marvelous Emma Stone's performance of Cruella. However, as a big Disney fan like I am, let's not forget where this villain, Cruella, came from, which came from the 1961, I might be wrong, 1961 or 1960.
I think 1961, let me check.
Check. I should know this, I think it's 1961, or yeah.
No, not Glenn Close.
No.
It's not, definitely not 1996. 1961, yep.
Yeah, 1961, when How to Dalmatian, where she was first introduced. So what we're gonna do, Anthony and I are going to be sharing you all our top 5 best vocal performance of the Disney animation canon. So Maleficent, Angelina Jolie won't be included because it's live action. Sequels won't be included. It's all in the Disney animation canon that's been released in theater. So it can be anybody. Kids are included too, not the heroes, of course. The heroes deserve their own list.
And just the Disney animation, no Pixar.
No Pixar, no. That's another list of them.
Yes.
Disney villains. It's okay. Before we start, let's just show some honorable mention before we would disappoint some people thinking that this was a hard list to make, man. So do you want to start or I'll start? I'll start.
You can start. I don't know.
Okay. So here's the honor. Here are like 3 honorable mention. Actually 4. This is so hard. Okay, the first one is, this is a modern one, Dr. Facilier, voiced by Kenneth Davis. It was so hard. I love his performance. He has the Bayou type of voice. He's a delight. And second one is Hans, voiced by Broadway star Antonio Fontana. I might pronounce it wrong. I'm so sorry, you guys. He is the Disney Prince villain. His voice is quite a delight, so I can't put him top, unfortunately, but he's there. And it's voiced by another Disney villain princess, another Broadway star, Mother Gothel, voiced by Donna Murphy. We love the dramatic, we love the sarcastic. She scared me before when she's first introduced, so she's in my honorable mention. And lastly, she broke my heart. I have to put her in honorable mention because again, there's other villains in my opinion that are better in the top, which we'll go over. Cruella de Vil herself, voiced by late Betty Lou Gersu. I'm so sorry I pronounced her last name, but Betty. Original Cruella. I'm so sorry. We love you, but unfortunately, you're not in my top 5 from my list. So let's hear what Anthony's. What is your honorable mention?
Yeah, so for me, this was a very hard list to make. I do want to say though that a lot of these are either classic or Renaissance. I do think, and this was something that I think Michael Eisner tried to instill during his tenure at the company, and I think Bob Iger to an extent too. Maybe more Bob Iger. It's the fact that there's not a lot of modern Disney villains. I feel like the last great Disney villain is my honorable mention, which is Donna Murphy's Mother Gothel from Tangled. Which, side note, needs, if you're gonna remake Tangled, which I think is inevitable, you need to get Catherine Hahn to play Mother Gothel.
Yes, definitely, 100%. Wanda Stance will be so upset if she didn't.
Yes. So I do think that I would love to see more Disney villains in the future that are true villains. I feel like, with Raya and The Last Dragon, we got anti-heroes with Gemma Chan's character.
Oh yeah,
and they're great characters.
List, but I didn't find her appealing, not like the villains that I have on my list.
Well, she doesn't end a villain. Like I would never put, if we were talking, side note, if we're talking about Marvel, I wouldn't put Loki overall as if you were going to isolate him to the Avengers movie, then yes. But because spoiler alert, dies a hero, I'm not going to put him as a villain. So that's my thing with a lot of these newer Disney villains. They're anti-heroes. They learn the error of their ways, like Callahan in Big Hero 6. I just want to say, need more Disney villains.
Villain stays as a villain.
Donna Murphy as Mother Gothel is an honorable mention for me. It's hard because Alice in Wonderland, they're kind of all, in the original, they're kind of all have a villainous undertone, but I think the Queen of Hearts was...
Oh yeah, I was going to mention her because she was voiced by Fairy Godmother. I'm very impressed with her vocal range.
Her range.
How, like,
yeah.
She became so sweet and innocent and like angry and the polar opposite.
Yeah, so I think those would be two of my, and then of course, there's some classics like Jafar. I had to keep off my list. Cruella DeVille.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. There's a lot. The original Maleficent, Lady Tremaine. There's a lot of great villains that I had to keep off my list. We need more. In the end, I hope we get more. I hope there's a future with more Disney.
Honorable mention, I forgot to mention Yzma. I love Yzma's voice. I forgot to put her on the list. I love Yzma.
Eartha Kitt is fantastic. Add her to my honorable mentions.
Yes, oh my god, I love Yzma. I forgot about her. So yeah, I just want to mention that, speaking of queer. Okay, so let's dive in the top. Let's start with you. What's your number 5 best villain performance?
Yeah, so for me, I have to pay respect to the woman who started it all, Lucille Laverne, who voiced the original Queen in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I think her performance is, it's iconic. I think everybody knows Magic Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all. It's such a great performance because, I believe she had to do both, the Queen voice and possibly, the old hag. So the range there is incredible. And, the fact that, this had never been done before and voice acting as just a profession in this type of feature was completely new, and the fact that she had to kind of pioneer how to do this, completely. I see some people feel like, oh, Snow White, it has, there's nothing to it. It's a very simple movie. Well, yeah, it's simple. That's part of why it's great, because it has a great performance of the villain, who, even though she's not on screen as much as the titular characters, Snow White or Seven the Dwarf, you love her. She's iconic. Everybody remembers her, and she sells her scenes. It's one of the best sequences in the movie is when she's trying to get making the poison apple, and just her work for, again, everything I've talked about.
Did you know that I think she had to remove her teeth to voice the witch? It's
that's crazy.
Historical. I don't know if it's a historical, but I heard that's a fact. That's what she did to voice the witch.
I believe it. So yeah, that's my number 5, Lucille Laverne. I hope I'm pronouncing these people's names right. I think there's one other one where I'm like, I think this is how you pronounce their name, but
that's okay. We're humans. At least we pronounce their first name right, I hope. Okay, anyway. So my number 5, this might upset some people. It's Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons. People say that his performance is, because some people think that it's a black actor voicing Scar. It's actually a white person. And I remember when The Lion King 2019 came out, people were like, his voice actor is better than I forgot who voiced Scar.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh yeah, he's a talented actor, but people say the original one is better. The reason why I put Scar because I love his sarcasm. I love humor. It's kind of a villain that we all love. Even though he killed his brother, I like him. That's why he's number 5 for me. He's very villainy and very I think for me, it's more I love him more than hate him because I love his voice performance. It's yes, keep speaking. You make the film, I guess, more campy, more queer. But we'll get into more queer character. Yeah, that's it for number 5. So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Richard White, voiced Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. This is one of my favorite villains because it's one of the most realistic villains. I think that he, in his performance, is able to see, he feels like a real person by his arc completely. In any other movie, he would be the hero, the guy who kills the beast and gets the girl. And I think the fact that can play both layers, that in his mind, this heroic figure, but really he is the antagonist of this story. I feel like a lot of the movie resides on him to sell that. The fact that the movie works so well, again, it's a nuanced vocal performance that I feel like people don't give as much credit to for Beauty and the Beast being as wonderful and groundbreaking as it is. He's incredible.
He did such a great job to making me feel oh my god, he's so attractive. Even he's a villain, but he's so attractive. His voice is so attractive and so deep. So my number 4 one is actually Hades, voiced by James Woods. I love his performance. He's such a delight. Every time I see him on my screen, keep it on the screen. He is top 3 funniest Disney villains including with Yzma, him. I love Hades. He has a whole range. He can be, you never know with him. He can one day be like a sassy villain. Well, next thing he can be like an angry villain where, oh my god, you don't want to mess with him. So like I love like this character design, like, fires with him. Like you can really feel the emotion. His character, he's very like unpredictable, and like he's a fun performance to watch. So he's number 4 for me.
Yeah, I honorable mention for me, but definitely the character design and tonally, I think he's able to walk the fine line between being very funny but being very serious at the same time. It takes a good vocal performance to sell that, and he definitely does.
So what is your number 3?
My number 3 is a personal pick for me. I really love this performance ever since I was a little kid. Hans Conried, who played Captain Hook in 1951's, I think it's 1953, one of those years. It's in the 1950s, Peter Pan. I hope I'm pronouncing his name. It's a great performance. Always loved Peter Pan, and I think he, like Hades, it's a very funny performance at times when he's just yelling "Smee!" and running away from the crocodile. But he has some real moments of scaring the audience. I think he, along with my number 1 choice, are the most scared I think I get by a vocal performance. And because they're villains, that's a big part of what makes a good performance for me. And so, yeah, I really love this. I love this character. I love the way that Disney interpreted the character. And I think this vocal performance, it's a necessary part of the movie. Because another thing is that because this performance has to be inspired by Mr. Darling, that's the whole point. Yeah, I feel like he does a great job of doing a vocal performance where you understand how these kids could see that Captain Hook is their father, but also in the way he talks, his inflections, the nuances, the way that he runs from the crocodile is very similar to the way that Mr. Darling will run away from Nana at the beginning. And so there's a lot of subtleties to that vocal performance that I think, again, because the movie is it has a lot of child characters, you need that great bedrock for the ensemble as a whole, and I think he does a great job with that. So that's why I'm ranking him high at number 3.
Yeah, my unpopular opinion about him, I don't find him like as a villain. He's kind of like a fun type of villain. Like even Walt Disney said he's like one of the funniest childish villain. He's kind of like Cruella, but in a male version of around that era.
I can see that.
He's so fun. Like he's fun, but I don't see him as a villain. He doesn't really scare me in my opinion. I'm scared for him because like he's being tortured by like not only Peter Pan but like the freaking crocodile. I think the crocodile is the one. Every time I watch Peter Pan, it makes me feel bad for him. I feel bad for you, man. That's why Walt Disney didn't kill you off towards the end of the film. Speaking of being killed off, my number 3 is actually voiced by the late, beautiful, amazing, talented, like Lady Gaga right now. I don't know how to pronounce. Alander Ollie. She voiced the wonderful Maleficent and Lady Tremaine. I put it for number 3 because it was hard because honestly one of my top 3. The reason why I love Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella is because of her. She makes the film very, watchable, less boring, what some people say. No offense, I think Cinderella, I don't know, she's kind of, she reminds me of Joan Crawford kind of with her voice. Lady Tremaine and used to scare me when I was young. The scene where Cinderella, when she came into her bed telling her I want you to do this, I want you to do that, I want you to do that. It scares me so much when I was young.
The shot that scared me the most with Lady Tremaine was when Lady Tremaine pieces together that Cinderella was the girl at the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And the camera zooms in on her and the shadows come over her eyes. It's so good.
Scares me.
She's so iconic. I mean, in both roles. I do think that she's definitely the best part of Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent is by far. I tried to pick, just transparently, I tried to pick different picks than Gico. That way we just had more of a conversation because honestly, we could have probably traded lists and we would have been fine. Because Maleficent is just incredible and maybe my favorite. She's up there. And Lady Tremaine is iconic.
Because I feel like Lady Tremaine is kind of like her being serious. When she voiced Maleficent, she felt like she had so much fun playing her. It's just so much fun. Crashing a party and I'm not doing anything. Fun fact, Maleficent's supposed to be the type of villain, even Lady Tremaine, that's why they're very kind of similar. Not only the voice and actors, but they don't do anything. It's just that their voice kind of scares you. It's our moms sometimes.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, you scare me. You didn't do anything, but just like your voice and like the words that they're saying, they're kind of like, you just stand there and talk. Whatever they come out of their mouth, it's very scary. And like, that's why our princess, especially Cinderella, is traumatized by her abusive for over a year. No, but yeah, honorable mention. I loved her. I love Stepsister. They're so funny.
They're great. I'm excited for the Kristen Wiig, Annie.
Oh yeah!
I don't know if that's how you say her name. That's gonna be fun. Lady Tremaine. She's very grounded. She's a very grounded villain, and she's great. They're both great.
So scary. So, Annie, what is your number? Is it number 2 now? I think
we're up to number 2, and this is going really fast. This is, again, another iconic performance. I think this is probably my favorite villain song in the Disney canon.
Is it Ursula? That's my guess.
Pat Carroll's Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Oh my God.
So, again, I keep saying the word iconic, but it just is. And I think this performance is electric. She's not on screen that often, and yet every time you cut away from her, you want to stay with her.
Yes.
I think that she is a great villain because she supports the story so well. She's a threat over the entire narrative in ways that I think these other villains sometimes, when you leave them and you're with the heroes, you're like, oh yeah, we're back with the heroes, even though we like the villain. She's somebody who I think you never want to say goodbye to, yet at the same time, she supports the narrative overall. She's a real team player within the movie, and I think that, she wins. She gets the trident, and she grows to be the size, she gets what she wants, even for 5 minutes.
It breaks me joy with that little, I wish it was a longer scene. Hopefully in the live stream it might do that. But I love that scene where, like, literally the first word she says to Trident was like, hey, how you doing? After she like, oh yeah, I made a deal with your little daughter, and like I love how chill she is. So you know where she goes on my list, but like, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, I feel sad when she, like, passed away at the end, and like I was just quite a delight.
And I think she has the best death of any villain. Getting impaled by that ship is so cool. Yeah, I'm very worried because I don't know if you can translate. Listen, I love Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see this remake, but I'm scared because if they blow Melissa McCarthy to like 500 stories high, like the end, it'd be very interesting. Speaking of Lady Gaga, I would have loved to see her play that role.
I know everybody, I honestly want her to play Evil Queen more than Ursula, to be honest with you, because Evil Queen fits her personality, like her persona kind of more. If you watch like American Horror Story Hotel, you can see potential. But yes, I wish it was Ursula, but at least
we'll see. I'm looking forward, despite, I think Rob Marshall's Chicago was obviously a very good film.
What he's gonna do with The Little Mermaid. I feel like he's gonna do a good job, I hope. But I'm confident because Melissa McCartney loves the material. And like she watched Little Mermaid so many times, so I think she can pull it off, I hope.
And I'm a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda, so I think his influence will be good. It's just a little bit. I feel like because I took American Sign Language as my high school language credit, and I feel like if maybe that was a way for them to communicate, that way it's not just on looks, like maybe they can communicate without voice, and that's how they can solve that. Because I feel like that. Listen, if you're watching the animated movie, I'm fine with it because those animated movies are, they're each gems and full issues. But again, the movie's like 32 years old. I do think that's maybe a way to.
That's a good idea. Rob Marshall, I hope you're watching this video.
Hope you're watching.
Idea. Make sure you add like sign language. That's actually a good idea. Like when Ariel goes silent. So speaking of number two, he was so hard. As much as I hate this villain, but he does such a good job playing this villain. It's Forlo, voiced by Tony J. He's a perfect definition. Like I hate him so much what he did, especially to my girl Esmeralda. He's so scary. He's like, I don't know, I don't want to describe it. I just love his performance. Like so very opera,
you mean?
Sorry?
But operatic. Oprah
operatic.
There
you go. Operatic.
Oprah, unless he's giving out free cars, he's not Oprah.
Oh no. Operatic. Sorry, not Oprah, but operatic. Oh no, he will never do that. He will do the polar opposite based on his character. Yeah. But like, I think I like his performance as Forlord and like Frollo. The way he sang that song was so dark. You can feel like his dark, disturbing desire.
Disturbing is a good word. It's very. I think he's the darkest. Like,
that's why he's number 2.
Yes.
That's why he's number 2 for villain. Like he did his job. I mean, for adults, I have no idea why Hunchback Notre Dame is PG, not PG. G. Anybody can watch it.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the rating system, like, that's G. Freaking Cars 2 is G, and like Cars 3 is G. But then Inside Out is PG. Like, it doesn't... The scene where there's cars shooting each other and blowing up each other with bombs is G. But a movie where Bing Bong passes away is PG. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't... But yeah, like, he's disgusting performance. And that's my conclusion as to why he's number 2 for me. So what is your number 1?
There's so many villains that I love. But if we're going with best vocal performance...
Yes.
Of a villain. For me, there is only one answer. It's been mentioned already, and that's Jeremy Irons' Scar. I think that what he does with that performance so incredible because there's so much that rides on him to sell. Because the movie is very Shakespearean. And the movie is taking Hamlet and trying to fit it into an hour and a half. There's a lot that relies on him to sell. You have to set up so much with him that everything is believable when he kills Mufasa halfway through. What I think is great is that there are certain scenes where you get a glimpse of what his life was like when he was a child growing up with Mufasa. Be Prepared, maybe I think is probably my second favorite villain song. I just think he is the most wicked, the most evil. I think his performance, he just heightened every single moment. And I think, no offense to Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think the direction that he got was different, and that's why it's a lesser performance. But I think you can tell because they were basically given the same material, and just look at the difference between Jeremy Irons and Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think that just distinctly shows why Jeremy Irons made such an impact on that movie. I feel like The Lion King would not be as remembered if not for Jeremy Irons' work. I really do think that he is one of the, I think, aside from villains, I would probably put him in like top 5 or top 3 Disney vocal performances in the animation canon. It's that good of a performance. It's really good. It's really good.
Wow. So for my number 1, we talk about her. It's Ursula for me, voiced by Patty Carlo? Yeah.
Pat Carol, I think. I'm not sure.
She's a great like voice actress, and she can make Ursula like I mean, I guess you can hate her, but I don't really hate her. I just like love like you said, like every time she's on my screen, she brings me so much delight. It's like, yes, I want to stay in this, layer for the entire movie instead of like leaving this. As much as I love Ariel, it's like my number 1 Disney princess in general for me, but like I just love Ursula. Her sassiness is there. Like she's like a perfect type of villain. Like she's the modern version of like Cruella in the sea.
She does. I feel like both of our villains, our number 1s, do a great job of walking the balance between, being threatening while also being appealing to kids. And I think that's, in the end, these are family movies. And I think that's what the Disney company is built on, that these are stories that anybody can enjoy. And I feel like no matter who you are, you can feel scared, you can feel entertained. And I think that is why Disney villains are so remembered, is because they don't make you depressed. They don't make you, at points they may be disturbing. But yeah, that's why I think they work so well. Frollo's the one odd duck where he's just like, you're a little too much, Frollo.
You're a little too much. I mean, I think adults would love him, but like for kids, I'm like, Ursula's probably one of like the top 3 or top 5 list for. But yes, I definitely agree with you. I feel like Disney villains like Ursula is one of the perfect examples of like a great villain that everybody can like. I mean, she can be scary, but she's not really that scary. She's kind of fun, kind of like you kind of agree with her-ish, with her, the way she like her hated like standards, especially for women at that time.
I don't know. I feel like her song is truthful. It's just we're not used to hearing it. And it's like we don't want it to be true, but
yeah, we don't want it to be true, but it's
kind of is.
Kind of is, which is kind of sad. That's why he is, the villain. Gay people love her so much. That's why she's super popular. She's like up there with Maleficent, Cruella, and yeah. So yeah, thanks to Cruella, we will not be getting like these wonderful villains after her. Those are like my top 5 list. Is there anything else you want to add before we...
I know we weren't doing live action films, but I just want to give a shout out because there's really only one that out of the live action canon that I would probably throw in here, which is Susan Sarandon's Queen from Enchanted.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it in so long.
It's very good. They just posted, I think Disenchanted is getting ready to start shooting or something. So it was on the mind. She's a fantastic villain. Oh, I think a lot of her work is voiceover because she doesn't become live action until the 3rd act. And I think she does a great job of capturing a lot of the nuances and inflections of like the voice actors like Lucille Laverne and the actress who did Maleficent and Lady Tremaine, and yet she still brings her own flair to it, and I think she bridges. It's very hard. I feel like people don't give enough credit to Enchanted for what it had to do. Vocal performance and actual performance is completely different, and the fact that all four of those actors, Amy Adams, James Marsden, Timothy Spall, and Susan Sarandon, all do that transition so well that you feel they are completely the same character, even though they're giving two different types of performances. It's really of note. So technically she's not it's not in the Disney animated canon. Technically it's live action too, but I did want to give her a shout out because half of it is animated, and I still think that it's a great villain performance that I wanted to highlight.
I definitely agree with you. She did like embody like those iconic villains from the past, from the princess movies. Like definitely. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, if you made it this far. And again, please make sure where can they find you?
So you can follow me on Twitter at Anthony_post. I'll probably my review for Cruella. I do Twitter reviews, so you can check my thoughts out on the movie. I'm probably gonna love it because it's Emma Stone and the director of I, Tonya. And then you can also follow the Council. We're on anywhere podcasts.
The merch.
Yes, the merch. And get right, we're going to be doing our Blue Ribbons TV Awards coming up, and we're very excited about that. Yeah, we have a lot of great episodes and podcasts coming up, so make sure to check us out. And if our merch comes back, I know we have a lot of fun announcements coming up. So yeah, just stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'll put it all in the thingy down below. You can also follow me all. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next video, whatever that's going to be. Okay, bye. Have a beautiful bad day. I don't know what villains would say. Evil dream.
Thank you for having me, by the way.
Thank you for doing this. Okay.
Yes. Bye bye.
What you can do is. Oh, wait, that's it. Okay.